an Orthodox Christian response to the Enneagram. In recent years, the Enneagram has gained popularity among both secular and heterodox Christian audiences as a tool for personal insight and spiritual growth. It presents 9 personality types that claim to describe the ways people perceive the world and manage their inner motivations. Many find it appealing because it seems to offer self-understanding and paths toward healing. However, from an Orthodox Christian perspective, it is important to approach such systems with discernment and a clear theological foundation. 1. The Orthodox understanding of the human person. Orthodox Christianity views the human person not as a collection of psychological traits, but as a living icon of God, created for communion with Him. Our identity is not defined by personality structures or patterns of behavior, but by our calling to become partakers of the divine nature, 2 Peter 1 verse 4. The Fathers teach that the human person is a mystery, deep and known fully only by God. Thus, any system that seeks to reduce the person to a type or number risks oversimplifying this sacred mystery. 2. The spiritual dangers of typology. While the Enneagram might offer some descriptive psychological insights, it easily becomes a form of spiritual self-analysis divorced from the life of repentance. Orthodox spirituality calls us not to self-categorization, but to self-knowledge through repentance, the knowledge that comes from standing before God in humility. When self-knowledge is sought apart from grace, it can lead to pride, self-preoccupation, and even deception, prelest. St. Gregory Palamas reminds us that true knowledge of oneself arises only through prayer, ascetic struggle, and divine illumination. 3. Origins and spiritual influences. The historical and spiritual origins of the Enneagram are also cause for concern. Though its modern form was popularized in the 20th century, it draws from sources outside the Orthodox tradition, including Western esotericism and mystical psychology. Because Orthodox spiritual life is deeply cautious about teachings that originate outside the Church's ascetic and sacramental context, we must be careful not to adopt frameworks that could distort our understanding of sin, virtue, and the healing of the soul. 4. Discernment and the healing of the passions. The Church already provides a comprehensive understanding of human brokenness and restoration through the teaching of the passions and virtues. The Fathers, such as St. John Climacus, St. Maximus the Confessor, and St. Isaac the Syrian, describe how the soul is wounded by the passions and healed through repentance, prayer, fasting, and participation in the sacraments. This patristic psychology, rooted in divine revelation and centuries of spiritual experience, offers a far deeper and safer path than any modern typological system. Conclusion. The Enneagram may offer interesting psychological observations, but it cannot provide true spiritual healing. Orthodoxy calls us instead to the life of repentance, prayer, and sacramental grace, through which we come to know both ourselves and God. As St. Sir Lewin the Athonite wrote, "Keep thy mind in hell and despair not." In that humility before the living God, not in self-typing or introspective systems, we find the only true and life-giving knowledge of the human heart.